How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting. Welcome back to Steinsgate, my darling's embrace, where we're on the Kurisu route. Last time we, I think cats and dogs get along better initially than Kurisu and Okabe have been in this setting so far. They've literally been at each other's throats, they've been arguing, they've been shocking themselves over and over again. They've managed to start realizing how to stop the shocks, but even so, they're still just ridiculous with each other. And now Okabe's accidentally implied that he might do terrible, terrible things to Kurisu. Ironically, in a way, he was trying to defend himself from one accusation and ended up just implicating himself in another. It's been a mess. So now we're just here. They're desperately trying to figure out how to talk to each other before they go to bed, because they both have to stay in the lab together because they can't be more than 3 meters apart. Or 1 meter apart. Gosh darn it, I keep forgetting that because I think I translate feet into meters into feet because, you know, stupid American imperial system. So it's 1 meter apart, which is 3 feet. So, ugh. But anyway, let's see how the madness goes forward. There's really not much else to say so far than the fact that they have to figure out how to not kill each other, which we know it'll be fine. I mean, we know they're meant for each other, but it's going to be interesting to see how they approach this journey when they're forced to be together for such long amounts of time. So, I guess we'll just have to dive right in. The longer the silence and inaction continues, the slower time seems to pass. The way we experience time is not absolute, but relative. According to the general theory of relativity, the way our bodies experience time is dependent on gravity, naturally changing gravities beyond us at the moment. Oh gee, can you imagine though? Which is why it's critical for us to find some activity that makes us feel as though time is passing more quickly.
明日の昼12時まで少しでも気が紛れ、かつ時間の進みが早く思えるように。そうだな。ここは何かゲームでもして過ごすというのはどうだろうか。
Oh, interesting. What game do you have in mind?
ゲーム？そんなものここにあったっけ？
いや、俺もわからんが、とりあえず開発室のパソコンでできるゲームがないか探してみよう。
Fair, fair. With that, I persuaded Kurisu to look for a game with me. And...
なんだこれは！エロゲしか置いてないではないか！
Well, what do you expect? Daru lives here. We discovered an assortment of games with very adult cover art. There was no end to them. If he could afford all of these games, he should be able to afford to donate to the lab. Yeah, you're not building a good case for yourself, man. Kurisu gave me a cold stare.
違う！これは俺のではない！全部ダルのだ！
I know, right? Kurisu slides 30 centimeters away from me. There's no way I could play any of these with her. Cool.
そうだな。
Duh!
2人モニターの前に並んでパソコンでゲームというのもおかしな話だ。
We have to have something else.
そうだ、思い出した。もっとこうボードゲームのようなものがあったような気がするぞ。
I was just about to say, like, what about board games? You seem like the kind of people who would have board games.
ほら、お前もやったことがあるだろう。ライフゲームとか、モノポリストとか、それ系のやつだ。
Alive? What be alive? Monopoly, obviously, but alive. No, I'm not sure what it's referencing.
そうね。確かにあの手のゲームなら何回かやっているうちにあっという間に時間が過ぎそうね。
The Monopoly is pretty boring with 2 people. It's just, oh, I buy a property, I sell a property. Having 3 people, like most games, you need like 3 or 4 to really make it fun because the idea is playing off of each other. But they could play chess.
だろう？確か前にマユリたちとみんなで遊ぶようにとどこかで買っておいたものがあったはずだ。あれを探そう。
Let's see what they got. We searched the laboratory for the board games this time. Oh, excuse me. I don't know why I'm getting all yawny. Now we found.
これはツイスターではないか。
Oh, that actually could be really fun, but it's such a physical game. It could be inadvisable for the 2 of you. But at the same time, you have to be close, so I guess it kind of works. You have to know what Twister is. Twistor is. It's a game where you put your hands and feet on randomly chosen color spaces and basically get intertwined with other players. So what is it doing here? As far as I remember, we've never played anything like this in the lab. Could this possibly be another result of the email I sent? But that led to another problem.
Okabe. あんたわざとやってるでしょ。
Oh, right. So here's the thing. I think this must be a Japanese thing again, because like physical intimacy and like touching is very much kind of like, it's more taboo. It's more, I don't know how to put this. I was watching some like localization videos, like people who live in Japan talking about Japanese culture, and one of them said like it's not uncommon to see people displaying PDA, but it's going to be very light PDA compared to what you might see on television. And because here's the thing, heavy PDA is also really uncomfortable for most Americans to watch. Like, you don't just see people making out in the corner very often. If you do, most of us aren't feeling comfortable about it. Though like in Japan, it's much more than that, I think. Like it's just, there's more reverence, not reverence, it's kind of like, it's supposed to be kind of personal. But like apparently like walking around holding hands is not too uncommon. The idea that's portrayed in anime is the idea that like, oh, people might think we're a couple. Oh no, what will they think? It'll be spreading rumors and stuff like that. Like, I mean, it's the same thing that happens in the United States as far as I can tell, except a little more extreme. Now the thing is, though, Twister, I would consider that to be a perfect like first few dates type of game to play with a few other friends. Like yeah, you're getting physically close to each other, but it's all the purpose of the game, you know? Like it's understood that it's just part of the game. It's not about trying to like cop a feel or anything. And in a way, like that closeness is kind of like it's a litmus test, just to see if you can interact with each other. But like in anime, it's always been portrayed as this like, what are you trying to do, huh? You trying to get super intimate? You're trying to get into this awkward position? It's like it gets blown out of proportion. I think it's mostly for the comedic value, but I guess if anyone who is watching this like lives in Japan and tried to go specifically dating in Japan, is Twister considered like a lot more intimate like than I'm describing? Because like there's a level of intimacy there, but it's considered something I would think most people would consider like acceptable in intimacy. I mean, like we played a game in college, like on a first date, like a big group date kind of thing. And keep in mind, this is like pretty straight-laced people, like nothing crazy is going on. But the whole game is that like it was like musical chairs but with other people, where like you're all sitting on the ground, and like you had like the guys would make a circle, and then the girls would sit like right in front of you. Like, so you'd sit with your legs like kind of in a V shape, and then they would sit directly in front of you, not like in your lap, but like just kind of in front of you. And then they would do a kind of like musical chairs type thing where they would there'd be one more girl than guys, so the girl would stand in the middle, and she'd say it'd be like a never have I ever kind of game, where it's like never have I ever done this, and anyone who had to get up and try and change spots to another person, like sitting in front of another person, and the girl in the middle would then try and find a seat, and then whoever was left standing, she and their date had to get up and leave the circle, leaving the rest of like the players to play the game, or like something like that. I think it's been a while since I did, like not a ton, but like I'd never played it before. And the funny thing is, now as I'm expressing it, it does seem a lot more intimate. So it's like, maybe I'm just crazy, okay? Maybe I was a lot more bold in dating than I remember being. Fetch, man. Her skepticism is valid.
違う、俺はこんなものがここにあったことさえ知らん。
That excuse is getting flimsier the more you say it, despite how truthful it is. She falls silent, and goes for a double side away combo. By this point, we'd realized that the kill time with the game was going nowhere. Not a great start, man. So instead, we went to a convenience store to get some snacks, and ended up standing around there reading manga and magazines until about midnight. Man, and the people didn't. Yeah, I guess most places probably just wouldn't really care. Like, a lot of bookstores would not be super fond of you doing that, but like they're also not against it.
それにしても1メートル以上離れちゃダメっていうのは思ってたよりもずっと大変ね。
Yeah, I imagine it's one of those things where like until you have to go through it, you never would think about it. Even following that like rule with like a significant other, I think would actually be a lot more challenging than you would think. So like, yeah, like in general, like sticking like right next to somebody all the time is definitely, it's It's definitely got to be something crazy. And like the other thing about it too is like they haven't yet had to discuss like the whole going to the bathroom thing. They probably won't because in most stories like you never talk about going to the bathroom unless it's like really relevant. But this might be a time where it is relevant, you know? Because that's got to be awkward, man. I hate using public bathrooms because I hate the idea of somebody else being close enough to hear what's going on. This would be a nightmare if you weren't like already like dating the person whom you were trying to like reconnect or like bonding over, you know? For somebody like Kurisu and Okabe at this stage where they're like, she can't even consider playing a game of Twister with him, let alone like, imagine her trying to go to the bathroom with him like right outside the door. Like I would make him wear earplugs and I would also wear earplugs because I would want to pretend like it's not actually happening. Oh gosh. She's not kidding. Staying close was especially hard outside when we simply walk out out of step with each other could lead to a sudden shock. The convenience store was nearly as tough. It's easy to separate if one person sees something that catches their interest and the other doesn't notice and takes a couple steps forward. We suffered more than a few shocks that way, which made the staff very suspicious of us. I bet.
普通に日常生活に支障をきたすレベルだな。
Yeah.
商品化するとしたら改良する必要があるわね。
Yeah, it definitely needs a bigger range.
クリスティーナよ。お前、この状況でまだそんなことを考えているのか？
当たり前でしょ？不幸な事故とはいえ、こうしてモニターする機会ができたんだから、どうせなら活用しなきゃ。
That's a positive way to take a look at it, but the only one.
じゃないと。何のために嫌な思いまでしてこんな状況に甘んじてるんだかわかんないでしょうが。
Yeah, it's a little cold of you to say it like that, but I agree.
まさに実験大好きっ子だな。またの名を。実験バカとも言う。
Lovely. Don't go down this road, Okabe, please.
あら、科学者としては普通のことよ。それとも、自称マッドサイエンティストの法王院京馬さんは、そんなことすら考えられないほど混乱してたのかしら？
That was a level-headed and measured response from Kurisu, which I approve of.
冗談ではない。当然俺も同じようなことを考えていたに決まっているだろう。
Sure you did.
どうだか。
She's just like Bayuri. She may initially panic once an unexpected event occurs, but once she has time to pull herself together, she's perfectly composed. I feel like women have nerves of steel when chips are down.
それにしても
People do.
ほんとこの部屋暑いわよね。
Yeah, we can't afford the AC.
海外ならまだしも、今時日本でエアコンないとか、健康的文化的な最低限度の生活に支障をきたすんじゃない？
Yeah, it is. That's something that is really odd. Although, to be fair, I grew up in a home in the northwestern United States, and it got really, really cold in the winter, but we never had AC in my house. We had fans, but no powered air conditioning. But we lived in a desert, so like at night, even in the heat of summer, like the highest point of summer, it would still get down to like 60 degrees for like even in the 50s like sometimes. So all you really needed to do was open your windows at night, and it would just bring in all this cool air, and then shut your windows like right when the sun was coming up, and then your house would stay relatively cool all day. It wasn't perfect, it definitely wasn't always great, but it was effective enough that we never really missed an AC unit, at least in the home. It could be terrible outside though. Like, I'm glad cars had AC.
その資金を得るためのガジェット制作でもあるのだ。とりあえずこれでも飲んで我慢しろ。
I took a Dr. P out of the convenience store bag and offered it to Kurisu. But she turned it down with a shake of her head.
いらない。
Why?
なぜだ？ドクターペッパーは好きだったはずだろ？
I'm pretty sure he actually just said Dr. Pepper. But did I hear that wrong? Can I like... Hang on. How do I... Where's like history? It's over here somewhere. Or am I misremembering? Backlog, there we go.
その資金を得るためのガジェット制作でもあるのだ。とりあえずこれでも飲んで我慢しろ。
But didn't he...
その資金を得るためのガジェット制作でもあるのだ。とりあえずこれでも飲んで我慢しろ。
I apparently am going crazy because I swear I could have heard that, but apparently not. Okay.
そうね。好きだけど、今はやめとくわ。
Oh, okay. She said as beads of sweat ran down her forehead. She's an odd one.
この暑さだと夜だろうが建物の中だろうが熱中症になる可能性があるというぞ。そうなってからでは知らんからな。
Okay, Okabe. Then you also should know, as a scientist, that drinking soda is an antithesis to that fact. Whilst it does provide hydration slightly because it has a high water concentrate content in it, it also has a lot of sugar and caffeine, both of which require water to process out of your body. So it effectively is a dehydrator because it usually not only takes the water of the soda to help you process it, but it also helps, it also needs help with the natural resources your body uses in order to process such things and to move them through cell walls and burn through the material, and to all of that process takes water as well. And I think if I remember correctly, caffeine being a stimulant also makes you have to evacuate more. So that means that you expel more liquid than you're probably intaking in general, and thus is counterintuitive to trying to hydrate yourself. Well, if she doesn't want it, I'll drink it. I twisted off the cap and downed half of it in a single guzzle. It was perfectly chilled, perhaps because I had been in the store's cooler for a while. It doesn't still very well and tasted delicious. The tension of the air after our first shock of the weird feeling that lasted until just a few minutes ago had both completely evaporated. At this rate, we should have no problem making it to tomorrow afternoon. Okay, so where's the catch, Okabe? Oh, it's playing the scary music now. I can hardly believe it. I'd hoped the rest of our time would fly by without incident, but such was not the case. It was just after 2 a.m. I never could have imagined it would come over me so suddenly. What can I do? Kurisu's right next to me, reading an article written in English. I look at her. I try to quell the urge, but it's growing and growing inside me, overpowering me. He's got to go to the bathroom. I can't take it anymore!
おい、さっきから何隣でもじもじしてるんだ？気が散るでしょうが。
We've got a bit of a problem. Without a word, I took her hand. 何？何のつもり？
クリスティーナよ。
We have a situation. I can't.
あんた、もしかして。
I didn't need to say a word for her to understand my desire. She's a sharp woman. Nope, she's misinterpreting, son. I nod slowly and firmly.
お前がドクターペッパーを飲まなかった理由が今わかった。
Yep. Stimulant.
やっぱりか！トイレか！催しちゃったのか！
Yep.
総貯水容量ギリギリでもはや決壊寸前だ。
I like how he's talking. It must be pretty bad.
あんなにグビグビ飲むからだ！
こうなることが分かっていたならあの時に一言でも言ってくれれば。
This is bad. Even teasing my abdomen, tensing my abdomen to yell at her makes me feel like everything's gonna leak out of me.
というわけでトイレに行くぞ。ついてくるがいい。
Oh no. Come on. Kid, they got a maximum. That bathroom's small, right? She can just sit outside, right? Please tell me that's true.
だが断る。
Well, what do you want me just to go right here? On the couch? She responded without batting an eye.
お前、やはりアットチャンネラーだな。
何のことよ。私はただ断るって言っただけよ。だが断るだなんて言ってない。
Kurisu, it's too late for you to play this game. You're losing touch.
語るに落ちたな。アットチャンネラーでないのなら、なぜだが断るがアットちゃん用語だと知っている。
Yep.
天才少女マキセクリスはアットチャンネラーである。この情報をマスコミは買ってくれるだろうか。
どうでもいいけど、あんたトイレに行きたいんじゃなかったの？
あ、そうだった。 少しちゃ俺。とにかくトイレだ。今すぐトイレに行くからついてくるのだ。
だから断ると言ったろうが。
お前は俺がここでいたしてしまってもいいというのか。
I mean, it's the logical step of the argument.
うわぁ、恥ずかしい。19にもなっておもらししちゃう男の人って。
Yes, yes it would, and it would be your fault.
そんなことを言っていられるのも今のうちだぞ。
He's just talking what you still can.
ひとたび俺の体がエクスプロージョンを起こせば、お前もただでは済まないことになるんだぞ。分かっているのか。
Yeah.
それともあれか。まさか。
Oh no.
なのか。それは度合いで言うとかなりの変態具合だぞ。
That's a deadly blow.
冗談も大概にしろ。誰もそんな趣味持っとらんわ。
It is gross. With every word, I got closer and closer to my limit. I twitched my body to the right and left and made one final agonizing appeal.
だったらなぜそう固くなに断る。それでお前に何の得があるというのだ。
What do you gain from this?
あんたね、人に物を頼むときは頼み方ってもんがあるでしょうが。
I don't have time.
一緒に来てください。お願いします。
最初からそう言えばいい。
Oh, I couldn't listen to her any longer. Grabbed her. He's yanking her right. I dragged her to the bathroom and left her on the other side of the closet. Okay, thank goodness. I made it. Fortunately, even with the door between us, we were within 1 meter radius of each other. Oh, good. So, that would not have worked. I've got 1.5 bathrooms in my current home, and one of them this would not work. Thankfully, the other one would, but still, if we weren't electric shock would have torn through my body, releasing what was inside and spelling the end of the world.
早くしてよね。
Just cover your ears. She didn't have to tell me twice.
聞くなよ。
If you're, I agree.
誰が聞くか。
I don't know. I'm uncomfortable too. That was a close call. But we avoided the end of the world. Make sure you wash your hands. They say even the longest night has an end, and the rays of dawn spilling into the lab lends credence to that. Sunlight bestows blessings upon the world and hope upon its people. I wonder if I would appreciate the sun as much as if I had not wanted so desperately for it to rise. Finally, 6 a.m. came.
なあ。試しに D メールを送ってみないか。
何言ってんのよ。忘れたの？ D メールが送れるのは昼を過ぎてからでしょ。
Right.
当然忘れてなどいない。しかし、万が一ということもあるじゃないか。
Hey.
どうせ、俺たちにはこのまま手をこまねいて待っているしかやることがないのだ。試してみる価値はあると思うのだが。
I mean, it can't hurt.
まあ、そうね。もしもそれで遅れたら儲けものかもしれないわよね。
We agree to write and send it to email. I'm amazed they didn't take the time to think of what they were gonna write.
文面は昨晩送ったメール同様、行った D メール実験をやめさせるものでいいな。
Oh, wow.
ええ、問題ないわ。
よし。
I opened the menu and typed email experiment is trouble. I adjust the wording slightly because spending one night with Kurisu made it clear that number 12 incident had an even more troubling impact than initially thought. I want to get out of this predicament as soon as possible. That's how exhausting the last 12 hours were to Kurisu and I.
では行くぞ。電話レンジカッコ仮。
Please. The phone white power is on. If it works, the machine will start emitting electricity.
くそい！
お願い。
We shout as we pray for success. However, no. Nothing happened. There's no strange feeling of dizziness, no strange sensation of the world turning around. The only thing we hear was the familiar ding that tells you that your food is microwaved. I checked my right wrist to be sure, and lo and behold, number 12 is still firmly fixed.
やはりダメか。
Yeah, well.
分かっていたこととはいえ、やっぱり落胆は大きいわね。
I
しかし
agree.
だからといって、このまま手をこまねいていたところで、時間が過ぎるのをただ無意に待つだけだ。
I don't know, sleep?
そうね。また後で挑戦してみましょう。
あ
We have nothing to lose. And if we succeed, we're golden. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. We tried again 2 hours later. Just after 8 a.m. Right around the time the nation of Japan started getting ready for the day. Maybe the phone wave is ready too. Admittedly, the grounds for that assumption were fairly weak, but that's the sort of wishful thinking that propels us into another attempt at sending a D-mail. But as expected, the results were unfavorable.
次は1時間後の9時にやりましょう。
Alright.
あ
At this point, Kurisu and I had learned from our mistakes. We've been shocked so many times. We didn't even get close to an argument during our wait. After this, we tried sending our D-mail every hour on the hour. 9, 10, 11 o'clock. Here's the thing. I think I keep yawning because I'm imagining what it would be like to have to stay up all night, because that's apparently what they did. Oh gosh, the torture. You'd think we might just wait until noon, but we were being stubborn since we'd already made so many attempts. The two of us tried and tried to send a D-mail. But every attempt ended in failure.
では行くぞ。5、4、3。
Yep, let's do it.
2、1。
電話レンジカッコ仮起動
Come on. I hit the send button on my phone for the 6th time today. The plate in the phone wave started to spin. And a few seconds later, the phone wave stopped unceremoniously. Our noon email attempt failed.
そんな。
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just like I thought. Boss man downstairs isn't here. Shop's not open. The lifter isn't active, and we don't know that. Kurisu's shoulders slump as she admits a sound that was equal parts fatigue and disappointment.
まあ仕方あるまい。そもそも送信できるのは12時くらいからというだけで、きっちり12時に遅れるわけではないのだ。
そうか。あ、でも次はきっと大丈夫よね。だって今までの実験だと少なくとも13時には確実に遅れるようになってるんだし。
Yep.
あ、そういうことだ。
I don't know why our D-mail rules are so inaccurate, but I also don't really care right now. I just want to be able to change things. Yeah, let's check my phone while we got, because I got all these, oh geez, so many messages. Oh, come on, there we go. All gone. And that should be our last disappointment. No more failed email transmissions, no more sitting lifelessly on the couch and the seconds tick endlessly by.
あと1時間。少なくともあと1時間で確実に解放されるのね。
Why don't we get something to eat while we're waiting?
そうだ。あと1時間だ。
Yes.
ねえ、その間、この12号機から解放されたら何をしたいか言い合わない？
Yeah.
そいつは考えたな。さすがは天才少女。
I'd be like, I'm going to walk to the other side of the room and not get shocked.
もうその言い方はやめてよ。照れるじゃない。
No, they're so sleep deprived, they're being stupid.
なあ、こいつはすまないな。つい癖で。
It's disgusting. Oh gosh. What a dumb conversation. It's so uninspired, like it came out of some foreign TV series. Looking back on it now makes my skin crawl, but at the time we were completely invested in what we were talking about. The freedom we had longed for was just ahead of us. We were completely elated. Now that I think about it, I was the only one who wished freedom. I was the only one whose freedom lay ahead because of my special ability reading Steiner. Once the D-mail was sent, Kurisu would be free from number 12. There would be no liberation for her. But that thought couldn't have been further from our minds.
解放されたらどうしようかしら。やっぱり熱いシャワーを浴びてクーラーの効いたホテルの部屋で思いっきり眠りたいわ。岡部は？
Oh yeah, that sounds lovely. That sounds
俺も同じ
great.
だな。今は開放感に満たされ、思う存分に眠りたい。
Oh yeah.
楽しみね。
This is actually kind of adorable, even though it's super cheesy. But again, they're operating off of no sleep, so frankly, be cheese.
ああ、楽しみだな。
We spent the next hours in high spirits. And at last, the hour hand of the clock approached 1 p.m. Here, our world comes crashing down. Oh, man.
ねえダルくん、鍵開いてるよ。
Well, we're here still.
え、マジで？オカリンたちまだ帰ってないのかな？
ひょっとして二人とも疲れて寝ちゃったとか？
入ったらまずいことになってたらどうする？
Oh, jeez, of course.
それはないよ。だってオカリンだもん。
ハゲドウ。
OFT? What does that mean? Internet name for a quote, quoted for truth.
トゥットゥルー。オカリン、クリスちゃん、おはよう。あれ、
Are we actually asleep?
どうしたんまゆし？
オカリンとクリスちゃんが。
Are we actually asleep?
おんや？
On the couch?
二人ともどうしたん？なんか燃え尽きちまったボクサーみたいになってるんですけど。
Oh no.
おーい、オカリン、クリスちゃん。どうして？
Oh, it didn't work. It's our world collapsed.
あれ？二人ともまだ12号機装着したまま？ってことは？
なぜだ？なぜ D メールが作動しないのだ！
The end of the world.
いろいろ調べてはみたけど、やっぱどこも壊れてないと思われ。
だったらどうして遅れない？もう昼の3時を過ぎているんだぞ。これまでだったら普通に遅れていたはずじゃないか。
How many more did we send? Yep, 13. Yeah. So 1 o'clock rolled around. And yeah, so you can see like, so noon, 1 o'clock rolled around. And then we did it again, and again, and again. Oh no.
もしかしたら回数制限があったとか？
回数制限だと？そんな話俺は聞いてないぞ。
そりゃそうだろう。僕も今適当に言っただけだし。つうか、まあ普通に物理的現象として考えたら、そんなことあるはずないんだけどさ。
Yeah, fair point. So who knows what the rules are?
だったら何が原因なのだ？
だからわからんて。
It was just about 1 p.m. when we excitedly sent the D-mail that we thought would liberate us from number 12. But tragically, the D-mail was sent back in time. It didn't change the past. And we have no idea why. No matter how many times we tried, the only response we received from the phone wave was its ordinary ding, and it didn't shoot electricity out, let alone change the past. The greater one's expectation, the more brutal the betrayal. By the end, the two of us were running on empty. We were so spent that we didn't even notice that Daru and Mayuri had come in for quite some time.
私、もう一回やってみる。
We've tried!
そうだな。
Perhaps this time we'll succeed? How many times have I thought that in this past hour? My thoughts were interrupted by the ding of the phone wave. I would just start crying with no idea why it wasn't working. The two of us sunk onto the sofa. Oh no.
大丈夫？クリスちゃん。
No.
大丈夫よって言いたいところだけど、
That's not true.
さすがにちょっと無理かも。
We can't do a thing about this. Daru and Kurisu couldn't figure out why it wasn't working, so we're completely beaten.
これはもう D メールを送って過去を変えるのは諦めた方がいいかもしれんね。
それじゃあ、オカリンとクリスちゃんはこのままになっちゃうの？
Oh my gosh.
しばらくの間はそういうことになると思われ。
しばらくってどれくらい？
それは僕にもわかんねえ。オカリンとマキセ氏が仲良くなれば早く外れるかもしんないし、電池が切れるまで待たなきゃなんないかもしんないし。
How long will it take for the batteries to die again? Didn't Kurisu say something about a special battery? If we can't send email, we can't change the past. That's a fairly ordinary situation to be in if you think of it. And here's the other thing about this too, like, the electrical discharges must take a lot of energy. What kind of battery does she have in that thing that can do multiple discharges like that without running out of juice? After all, we never knew that it was possible to send an email to the past until a few days ago. But it's different now. Changing from the past, now that I've tasted the forbidden fruit, I assume that any mistake could be undone with some time manipulation. I thought that the ability to send email was a given. I'd subconsciously taken it for granted. But that idea now lies shattered upon the ground. The absolute fatigue that comes with being awake for an entire day and the utter despair that comes with being proven completely wrong combined within me. That's pretty crushing. What cruel cocktail left Kurisu and me barely holding on to what remained of our sanity. At the moment, the front door suddenly flew open, and someone came in. Hey!
Konnichiwa!
Hey, Suzuha. Suzuha walked in with a voice brimming with energy.
Ah, Suzu-san! Tutturu!
Aww.
C の前より、tutturu!
She looks around the room, giving her head a slight tilt as she captures me and Kurisu in her sights.
どうしたの？なんかみんな深刻な顔しちゃってるけど。
Yeah, well, I mean, our life is effectively over at this point until we figure out how to get out of this mess.
ダルくんが驚かしちゃったから、オカリンとクリスちゃんが離れられなくなって大変なのです。
Yeah, that's a great summary.
なんかよくわかんないけど、困った状況なんだろうなってのはよくわかった。
Suzuha looked around the room again and scratched her head.
そっか、じゃあ無理だね。
無理ってなんか用でもあったん？
ほら、店長が苗連れて旅行に行っちゃったからバイトも休みで暇なんだよね。それで遊び相手にでもなってもらおうかと思ったんだけど。
Ah, okay.
残念だけど今ちょっとそれどころじゃないかも。
そんな感じだよね。そっかそっか。だったらいいんだ。
Well, I mean, tell her. Maybe she'll have an idea.
ごめんね。こっちこそ取り込み中にごめん。そんじゃ、失礼しました。
After Suzuha left, the room once again fell silent. If she'd only turned the TV on.
とりあえず僕、もうちょっとだから例のやつだけ完成させるわ。
That thing is probably the new gadget I asked him to make. But it doesn't matter anymore. I'd rather he worked out some way to solve my problem, but he's done his due diligence already, so I don't have a choice.
シャワー浴びたい。
You can. I'll sit outside the room. Kurisu said this quietly as if emerging from a daze.
ホテルに帰りたい。シャワー浴びたい。ゆっくり寝たい。クリスちゃん。
わがままを言うな。そんなこと言ったところでこいつをどうにかしなければいけないのは分かっているだろう。
No, don't do that, Okabe. Just go with her to her hotel. Screw what anyone else thinks. Screw what it looks like. Just go.
どうにかってどうやって？
それは作ったお前にしか分からん。
だったら無理ね。私は完璧なものを作ったって自負があるもの。
Yeah. And just like that, we're back to square one. No more square negative, no, more like square negative one, since using D-mail to fix this is off the table. Square negative one. That's just I, right? No, I is the square root of negative one. Imaginary number. I think a square of negative one is also like imaginary technically because the square of negative one is just one. Yeah, like, wait. What he's saying makes no sense. We're back to square one. Square negative one. Yeah, that's like the same thing. The only improvement over yesterday is that we're too exhausted to argue with each other.
そうか。ならばどうしようもないな。このまま1週間だか10日だか電池が切れるのを待つかもしくは。
Oh gosh. Unless our feelings can intertwine. It's me and Kurisu, so the chances are slim.
そうだ。いいこと思いついたわ。
Okay, what is it? What is it? Everyone immediately looked at Kurisu.
何何？
さすがはマキセ氏。僕にできることなら手伝うを。
Right?
それでぜひ聞かせてもらおうか。そのいいこととは何なのだ？
それはね。
Yeah? With 6 hopeful eyes staring at her, she gave a wry laugh and said,
切っちゃうっていうのはどう？
I thought that was impossible. Why didn't we do this hours ago?
切るってダーリンのおバカちゃんを？
Oh, wait. Maybe cutting one off would attack the other, like, incessantly? I mean, hey. At this point, I'd volunteer as tribute.
ダメよ、そんなことしたら。より強力な電流が流れちゃうでしょ。
Are you talking about a hand?
だったら何を切るというのだ？
そんなの決まってるでしょ。これよ、これ。
Oh, the smile on her face, Kurisu slowly raised her left arm. Oh dear. Oh no. Yep, we've lost her. We've lost her. Get back. And in her hand, she held my right arm.
ね、これをこの辺りでチョキって切っちゃえば、外れるのを待たなくてもいいでしょ。
What the heck is she talking about?
どういうことかな。
This is a side of Kurisu we haven't seen before. Oh dear.
マキセ氏、ヤンデレか来たー。
Nope, yandere doesn't count, Dario, because yandere, a female character who acts abnormally and often violently due to her excessive affection towards a male character. It's like, I see what he's saying there, but that's not the impossible. Now, if she wanted to cut off Okabe's arm because he like touched or like punched a guy that she liked, that would be being a yandere. No, cutting her off is just she's going full psychopath.
バカか！そんなことを言っているバカ！クリスティーナよ！お前正気か？疲労困憊のあまりおかしくなってしまったのか？
Yes, and yes.
私は正気よ。だって今の状況を考えるとそうするのが一番合理的じゃない？
Plus, wouldn't that still effectually make, like, wouldn't the bracelet think that cutting off the hand, thus cutting off circulation, make it think, oh crap, they took it off, and shock you anyway? She said this with a cold smile and a small chuckle.
冗談ではない。そんなことをしたら俺の右手が暴走して大変なことになるぞ。
だからそれごと切り落としちゃえば、これから先二度とその中二病が暴走することもなくなるでしょ。
Oh gosh. Dang it, what's with this genius girl? Is she really a mad scientist? Is she really a mad scientist? Yeah, come on guys, what do you think of her now? Still think she's really cute? I mean, she is, but this is being a turn off. This being a turn off.
でもこういう時って物は何を使えばいいのかしら。肉切り包丁？ノコギリ？それとも斧とかそういうの？
You know, the axe might actually be the best of the three. A kitchen knife would take a lot of cutting. Even if it was super sharp, you'd have to really put some force behind it, but you might be able to get through bone with it if it were the proper knife. A chainsaw would be fairly quick, but it rips and tears, so it'd be horrifically painful. An axe has enough pressure that if you sharpened it enough, it should just go straight through. Be nice, quick, and clean. We're looking okay in the rearview mirror, and we've also passed like Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. We're in full maniac.
グロ注意。
Yep, there we go.
だからそんな悠長なことを言っている場合ではない。ダル、この女を何とかしろ。
あらダメよ。橋田は私のこと手伝ってくれるって言ったもの。ね？
Oh gosh.
いや、僕そういうのはちょっと。
じゃあさっき言ったことは嘘だったんだ。
Oh dear. Oh boy. Oh no. Daru seemed to crumple under Kurisu's stinging gaze. I could tell that he was sweating from every pore. Is he actually thinking about this? Despite the lack of air conditioning, it feels as though the temperature in this room suddenly dropped below freezing. How did we get here? Have the events of the last 24 hours really driven her insane?
まあいいわ。とりあえずさっさと始めちゃいましょう。
Oh no.
始めるって？
だから言ったでしょ。切るの。
She wore a look of ecstatic glee, a complete reversal from just a few minutes ago. But that smile sent chills down my spine.
まだクリスティーナ、冷静になろうな、話せばわかる。
This is horrifying. Because she's not entirely joking here.
お前は今ちょっと疲れてるんだ。とにかく落ち着け。
冗談。冗談よ。そんなことするわけないでしょ。何真剣になってるんだか。
You're pretty convincing.
冗談って？
だから冗談は冗談だってば。いくらなんでもそんなことできるわけないでしょ。
I'm gonna plead the fifth here.
クリスちゃんはおかしくなってない？ごめんね、マユリ。驚かしちゃった。
She smiles.
貴様！こんな時に何という冗談を言うのだ。危うく本気に仕掛けただろうが。
I'd be yelling too.
こんな時だからこそこんな冗談でも言ってないと心が折れちゃいそうだったのよ。
It's fair point there, though.
それとも何？自称狂気のマッドサイエンティストさんは今ので怖くなって震え上がっちゃったとか？
It scared me, and I'm a real person on the other side of a computer screen, and that was terrifying.
それこそ冗談だな。あの程度の狂気性など俺からしてみれば赤ん坊が泣いているにも等しい。
That was, again, mwah, the delivery of these lines is just gold. He's trying to sound all like uppity or whatnot, but he's just like genuinely still terrified. His heart's still pounding. You could feel it.
そんなこと言って顔面蒼白になってたのは誰かしら？
だる、言われてるぞ。
お前のことを言っとるんだ。
ねえ、二人ともそんなに怒ったらまたビリビリ来ちゃうよ。
Right.
その心配はなさそうだおまゆし。
どうして？
だってほら、二人ともしっかり手つないでるし。
Oh, right.
本当だ。
We'd picked up the horrible habit. When we start getting into an argument, we hold hands. It had been trained into us since last night. Yep, that's Pavlov's theory. Just like Pavlov's dog, it was trained to avoid electric shocks. Desperation does strange things to people. It also had the option to trick myself into believing that the pain from the electric shock was pleasurable, but I feared that might lead to issues down the line, so I took the lesser of two evils. He's like, you know what? Horrific, life-changing pain. Nah, I'm not gonna even try and go the route of potential perverts. I'm just going to keep to myself.
いいわ。
Kurisu stood up as if she'd made a decision.
いつまでもここでこうしていたってどうしようもないってことは痛いほど分かったわ。
Right.
とにかく今、私たちに必要なのは睡眠と休息。
I agree.
つながれてようとなんだろうと、生きていくためにはこの2つは必要不可欠なの。
Amen. Get over it. Just you gotta deal.
至極まっとうな意見だが、だからといってどうするつもりだ？もしかしてここで俺と一緒に寝起きするつもりか？
You could take shifts if you absolutely have to. I personally wouldn't really mind, but she's shot that idea down previously.
この際、それでも仕方ないんだけど、どうせ同じ休むなら少しでも休める環境で休む方が賢明よね。
She's tossed aside because, like I said, screw taboo, screw like the awkward views and the whispers around you. We've gone past the point of caring. It's time to just go to the hotel room and just clean up.
というわけで、私帰るわ。
帰るだと？
ええ、そうよ。
待て、帰るってどこへ帰るつもりだ？
Like, wait, you're not America, right?
決まってるでしょ。ホテルの部屋よ。
Hotel. But that means...
でもそうするとオカリンはどうするん？もしかしてさっきみたいに腕を切るとか言い出すんじゃ。
Probably.
まさか。さっきのは冗談だって言ったでしょ。
でも、だったらどうするつもりだ？
もちろん岡部も一緒に行くのよ。この際仕方ないでしょ。
Come on, Okabe, get with the program here. I'm going back to her hotel with her. The room seemed to freeze over once more. And for a while, a silence fell upon the lab. Dara was the one to speak first. Of course he is. Here it comes.
ホテルに行く？オカリンと二人で？
Yes.
それほど広い部屋でもないから、さすがに3人も4人も入れないし、そういうことになるわね。
What does this mean? I thought she didn't want to go back to her room with me. Isn't that why she spent the night here? So why now? She's exhausted! What is she thinking? What are her true intentions?
クリスティーナ、貴様、この俺を部屋に連れ込むと確かにそう言ったのだな。
God, get over yourself. Stop being a baby.
連れ込むとか言うないかがわしい。
Yeah.
ならば言い方を変えよう。貴様、俺を自らの根城に誘い込んでどうするつもりだ？
I don't know. Let you take a shower?
そうか、わかったぞ。お前、さては俺のこの天才的な脳を欲するあまり、回答して取り出し、自分だけのものにしてめでるつもりだな。
Oh, Okabe.
それとも、ロボトミー手術でも施し、実験材料にでもするつもりか？
Although, a lobotomy might not be a bad idea. Like, she might be able to trick the sensor into thinking that they're happy together now. Surgical brain treatment for mental disorders, small holes made in the skull, and then the frontal lobe is severed with a long scalpel. There are cases where this technique has cured mental disorders, enough to earn the inventor a Nobel Prize. However, the technique has also caused serious side effects by including loss of humanity. By the 1970s, many countries have banned the process. Yeah, isn't that great? It's like, oh yeah, it cures your mental deficiencies, but it also stops you from being human. It's terrible.
お望みならば本当にそうしてやろうか。
できるものなら。
I was going to say go ahead and try, but then I remembered the right arm incident and thought better of it.
あのな、ホテルに帰るんだからやることは一つ。寝るに決まっとろうが。
Yep.
ホテル、やる、寝るだけ聞いた。
Oh gosh.
足だ。なんならあんたの脳も取り出してやろうか。
ふひひ、させん。
Yeah.
ったく、どいつもこいつも変な想像するんじゃないの。いい？さっきも言ったけど、この状況は変えられないんだから、どうせ寝るなら快適な環境で寝たいってだけ。
I agree. I mean, it's perfectly reasonable, honestly. In other words, she just gave up. I thought as much last night, but women really are brave in situations like this.
しかし、いいのか？
It's fine. Grab yourself a change of clothes too, you stink.
何が？
だから、俺が一緒でもだ。
あんた言ったじゃない。変なことはしないって。それともあれは嘘だったの？
Nope.
もちろん嘘ではない。それについてはニュートンに誓ってもいい。
昨日はアインシュタインだったような気がするけど、まあ細かいことはともかく。
Oh,
あん
sorry.
たがそう言うなら、私はあんたのことを信じるわ。
Right? I mean, to be fair, you don't have a choice. She looked straight into my eyes as she told me that. She trusts me. There's no way I could think of doing something weird after hearing that. Good thinking, son. Especially with the look in her eyes.
いいなあ、オカリン。マユシーもクリスちゃんの泊まってる部屋に行ってみたいのです。
Oh, yeah?
そういえばそんな話もしてたわよね。それじゃあ今度この12号機が無事に外れたら、私の部屋でお泊まり会しよう。
Yes, you should. This sleepover is a great thing.
やったー！
Yatta!
お泊まり会なんて前にルカ君のところでやって以来だから楽しみだよ。
何？マユリ、お前ルカ子のところに泊まったのか？
Yeah.
泊まったよ。
待て、俺はそんな話聞いていないぞ。
あれ、話してなかったっけ？ああ、そっか。その頃ちょうどオカリンなんだか忙しそうにしてたから言ってなかったかも。
Oh, okay.
一応確認しておくんが、ルカ子は男のままだよね。
Right. Could he have miraculously changed sexes somehow? Okabe.
そうだよ。
I guess not.
そのことは親には言ったのか？
ルカ君のところならいいよって。
Oh, okay. Sure. Whatever.
ルカ子のところになら？ということは、お前の親はルカ子と会ったことがあるのか？
前に一回家に来たことあってね。礼儀正しくていい子だねって言ってたよ。
Interesting. That's probably because they thought he was a girl.
ルカ君のお父さんも娘が2人できたみたいで賑やかでいいねって喜んでたのです。
Yeah, okay, that's the problem. They think Luca's a girl. He would say that. But could that mean... No way. Just thinking about it's giving me a headache.
あれ？どうしたのオカリン？
I'm fine!
いや、
It's Lukako. If she just slept over at Lukako's, it should be fine, right? I have mixed feelings about all this.
男の独占欲。かっこ悪い。
Hey, shush.
そういうことではない。
それよりオカリンもクリスちゃんも昨日からずっと起きてるんだよね。
Yeah.
ホテルに帰るなら早く帰ってゆっくり休んだ方がいいとマユシーは思うな。
Yes, I should.
そうね。このままここでダラダラ喋っていても仕方ないし。行こうか、岡部。
Yep, let's go, go, go.
いいのか？
You've asked 3 times, just go.
だから、信用してるんだってば。
そうか。
If she's okay with it, I should be too.
では行こうか。いざマクツへ。
マクツって何よ。
With that, I'm headed to the hotel in Ocha... Okay, here we go. Ocha no Mizu, where Kurisu's living out during her stay in Japan.
あ、待って、オカリン、オカリン。
Yes, yes. Daru stopped me on the way out the door.
どうしたダル？
こんな時だからこそ、一つ言っておかなきゃいけないことがあったんだお。
Oh no.
なんだ？
Daru's expression grows serious. He asks,
そんな装備で大丈夫か？
What are you trying to say?
一番いいのを頼む。
I'll take the best you have.
お前らな。
Oh my gosh. Hey, past do Ducks rivalry. Alright, but that's where we're going to end for today. The march back to Kurisu's hotel room, where I'm sure inexplicably things are going to get spicy. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. Man, it's fun having you guys around. And thank you to the fantastic patrons who are here and supporting the channel. You guys are the best. Thank you. They have been able to contribute to the channel directly, and as such, we've been able to add some custom emojis. I'm also specifically having a special type of call out for all patrons. We're doing a special patron cast this month where we're going to be talking about the future of the channel. Like specifically, I have some ideas I'm tossing around that I want to have input on. So please make sure that you are, if you are interested in that, that you are down as a current patron. You'll be able to have access to the patron cast and give your feedback. You know, if that's something that you're interested in. Otherwise, thank you so much for being there, and thank you for being here. Whoever you are watching, you guys are still as much a part of the channel as anybody, regardless of whether you contribute directly or not. It doesn't matter. Thank you so much for being here. It really means the world to me, and I hope you've enjoyed this series. I hope you're enjoying the shenanigans with Kurisu and Okabe as we watch them mentally slowly deteriorate into little puddles of whom they once were. But hey, I can start to see that this could begin to bring about something really wonderful, especially when Kurisu can finally get some rest and some relaxation. I think that when she kind of accepts the situation, and Okabe as well, but mostly I think Kurisu is going to be able to kind of come around and start thinking about like other solutions. I bet she'll come up with some ideas. But for now, they're actually on a decent track. I mean, they start trusting each other. Like if they can just follow through with that, I think they're going to make some pretty solid progress. So I'll have to see how this all plays out. But thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for your support, your love, your attention, and the fact that you've hit those buttons like subscribes, likes, and comments. Every single one of those is a big thing for me and my channel. So I really appreciate it. And I look forward to talking with you all in the future. So thank you so much. Until next video, watching me up. See me in next. I'll see you there.